Hi there, my name is Ed, I'm a tea head, and today we are trying a tea. I'm back after a couple of months, back with another video. So I'm just going to jump straight in. I've been warming up my new teaware. So there we go. I should have done this in the other order, oh well. But this is Amethyst GABA Oolong. This is a sort of a special type of oolong, which contains something called GABA, which is actually an amino acid. I won't be able to remember the name specifically, but GABA is a neurotransmitter which, in your brain, it's an inhibitory neurotransmitter. So it actually inhibits nerve transmission. But what that means is that it calms you down. It's kind of a calming amino acid. A technical term is depressant, but that doesn't sound as fun. This is a spring pick tea from Alishan in Taiwan. And of course it's Mei leaf. Wow. This is a very, as you'll have seen, this is a very, very dark tea. Got it, and it's hard to separate out a note. There is a fruitiness, but it's mostly just a very rich kind of, not, I wouldn't say roasted, but it definitely kind of roasted or maybe a little bit woody. But there is a kind of a ruby sweetness in the smell. I know that probably doesn't make much sense, but there's kind of a ruby sweetness that cuts through the kind of dark, and look, it is just black. These leaves are just amazingly dark. Right, let's get brewing. So there's we're not sure whether GABA actually crosses the blood-brain barrier, but either way, there is lots of anecdotal evidence to show that GABA is an incredibly calming neurotransmitter. So I wasn't a massive fan of this tea when I first tried it, but I've given it a few more goes, and I have to say that I'm definitely warming up to it. So I'm less familiar with ball rolled oolongs at the moment. The longer brewing times kind of throw me off a little bit. So I'm just going to wait a little bit. I don't want this video to be too long, so we're going to go ahead and have a look at this first infusion. So you would think that the tea liqueur would be a bit darker, and I tend to find out it's actually not that dark. Here we go, trying to catch the light. You kind of get this dark, God, it just looks like alcohol to me, honestly, like a whiskey or something. A nice dark kind of crystal brown colour. Now the first infusion is a little bit bold, because you've just got that first, you're just taking off that that kind of first layer of darkness, that first layer of kind of bold, the kind of deep dark flavours. It's smooth, quite thick, but it's also got this sort of quite tantalising twinge in the back of the mouth, and I'm guessing that's from the minerality. You get it with some pu'er, obviously, and some sort of, the other mineral-rich teas like rock tea and whatever else. I even find as you drink tea, even if it's just even if it's the same infusion, you start to the taste starts to change because your mouth gets more used to the taste. You start depositing those layers of flavour and minerals. I really struggle to put a word onto this. In terms of profile, for me it's very unique, and I don't think dark and rich and roast and kind of the roasted and the kind of usual chocolatey coffee kind of things, they just don't really work with me with this tea. So I went ahead and did the second infusion of this tea, and you can see I've got a much deeper colour here. Yeah, much darker. There's still the reddish tint, but it's a nice deep kind of brown. And let's see if the colour change is reflected in the taste profile change. And it's brighter. It's still got that amazing quenching, kind of tantalising kind of little tickle at the back of the mouth. There was a bitter stream in the profile, a kind of coffee-ish flavour. Then it's balanced by a lightness and by a sweetness that goes alongside with it. And I'm really getting the minerality in this tea. I might be underestimating it because it's making me salivate. My mouth is really. I kind of feel like my mouth is reacting to the tea. It's going towards the tea. It's not kind of looking for the flavour and for the reaction. It's really kind of gripping with it. So I think GABA teas are quite popular because of their calming effect, and I personally don't have massive anecdotal evidence for this calming effect, because for me tea is calming anyway, so it's quite difficult to compare it to different teas, especially because lots of other foods and lots of other teas do have some level of GABA in them as well. It's a very, very common amino acid. And it's difficult again with your own biases and your own your own self-inflicted placebo effect, I guess you could almost say. Right, I'm going to go into one more infusion. Now, with this tea, I'm not coming at you as an expert by any means, or someone who even really knows that much about this tea. I'm not that familiar with GABA. And I'm less familiar with ball rolled oolongs as well. So if there's anyone out there who is actually more familiar with GABA, particularly amethyst GABA, then I'd love to hear more about it. I do know that the GABA accumulates in the leaf because of, I think, of a certain type of gaseous environment that it's processed in. I think it has to be in a very low oxygen environment for the GABA to really start to. I'm not sure even where it comes from. I guess, or obviously, latent in the leaf there is some GABA, but I guess it in a lack of oxygen, it probably isn't metabolized or processed by the leaf. So yeah, I have to say this tea doesn't, for me. Again, I'm not as familiar with ball rolled oolongs. Just in my recent tea tasting, but this doesn't seem to match with other kind of heavily oxidized oolong flavour profiles. And when I first tasted it, it was quite disarming. I was quite confused by the flavour. And as you can see, I kind of still am. I really struggle to put words onto it. But for me, it's the way it makes my mouth feel. It's that you do have a balance of the bitterness and also this kind of quenching sweetness that's going through the tea. And I love the colour. And one thing that has kind of mystified me is that these leaves just don't open up. With most ball rolled oolongs, the leaves will open up and you'll get these massive leaves, and with pu'er they kind of fold out and all this sort of stuff. These leaves just stayed really scrunched up, and I've been kind of perplexed by that. I've been expecting them to open up and all this stuff, and I'm not sure if I'm brewing it wrong, honestly. And trust me, I have brewed this to probably its death, so I don't think it's on my end. So there we go. This is the Amethyst Gaba Oolong from Mayleaf. Here are the leaves, and as you can see, these leaves are black as they come. Fascinating. So that's me. That's going to end this video. And obviously I'm going to sit here and be drinking many more infusions. See you later.